we make things. We use our hands, minds, and machines to build, to fix, to improve. We're known as do-it-yourselfers, home improvement fans, fix-it fanatics, inventors. At our core, though, we're all makers. So let's jump in and make something. Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton. Welcome to the show. Indirect Cove lighting creates a soft ambiance in just about any room. Now, this project has gotten wonderfully easy to do thanks to two things: lightweight foam crown molding and inexpensive LED light tape. In a few minutes, I'll show you exactly what I mean. Regular watering is essential to any healthy garden or flower bed, and the most efficient way to get moisture to plants is with an irrigation system that delivers water directly to the root system. Installing one is easy. Sunlight can fade draperies and upholstery fabric and make a room uncomfortably warm. One way to solve this problem is with window films that you can apply yourself. Cove lighting can add a dramatic effect to just about any room, and now this project has gotten a whole lot easier for two reasons: polystyrene crown molding and LED lighting tape. Let me show you what I mean. This polystyrene crown molding is typically used at the top of the wall, where it meets the ceiling. However, this molding by Creative Crown has a unique design that allows it to be mounted several inches below the ceiling and backlit with LED light tape. To begin, I first decide how far from the ceiling I want the lighting. Now, one way to do this is to take a scrap piece of molding, attach a piece of LED light tape to the back, and do some experimenting. Once I've determined the best location, I mark the bottom edge of the molding. Normally, the power for the lights will come from a wall receptacle. The power supply simply plugs into the outlet and reduces the 120-volt AC household current to 12 volts DC. The challenge here is to get the power up to the molding without the wire being visible. To do that, I'll first cut an opening and install this mounting bracket. Then draw a vertical line up the wall and mark the height at which I want the wire to exit. Next, I bore a 1-inch hole in the wall. Tie a length of string to a short piece of chain. Push the chain into the hole and allow it to drop downward until it becomes visible in the wall opening I just cut. Now I can simply reach in, grab the chain, and pull out the string. A piece of wooden dowel will keep the string from falling into the wall cavity. I attach an extension cable to the power supply, tape the end of the cable to the string, and pull it up inside the wall and out the hole on top. Finally, I'll install this recessed cable plate next to the receptacle. Now I can cut the molding to length and put corner miters on the end. This non-metallic foil tape, commonly used for heating and air conditioning ducts, is being applied to the back of the crown molding to act as a reflector, bouncing the maximum amount of light upward. Now, it's important to use a non-metallic tape here to avoid the possibility of shorting out the LED lighting strip. To position the molding, I measure down the desired distance from the ceiling and make a mark near the end of each wall. Then, drive in a finish nail on one of the marks, loop the end of a chalk line over the nail, pull the line taut, align it with the mark on the other end of the wall, and snap a line. The lightweight polystyrene molding can be attached to the wall with standard painter's caulk, or a high-tack caulk like this one. No fasteners of any kind will be necessary. I just press the molding to the wall, double check the position, and make any necessary adjustment. Then caulk the miters. The LED light tape can be plugged directly into the power cable. Today, though, I'm going to add this wireless controller between the power cord and the tape that will allow me to operate the lights remotely. Next, I peel off the protective backing from the LED light tape, set it in position inside the molding, and press the tape in place. The light tape can be trimmed to any desired length with a pair of scissors. The remote control not only turns the lights on and off, it also controls the lighting level and can provide a variety of lighting effects, perfect for that next disco party. Pretty cool, huh? My Washington journey begins in the northwestern corner of the state. Imagine having a home on the beach, looking out from your garden to the Pacific Ocean. Well, that's what Carol Ann and Tom Hyatt enjoy every day from their home in Ferndale, Washington. They've asked me to help them install a garden sprinkler so they can spend less time working on the garden and more time enjoying it. I have the system for them. Hey folks, how are you? Good morning.
Nice to meet you, Ron.
Hey Carol Ann, Tom.
Hey Ron, glad to meet you.
I got to ask you, why would you need water in Washington? It rains all the time here.
Yeah.
Well, we do get some spells where we really
Gets
need
dry,
the
yeah?
water.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's for sure.
Want to show me the yard? We'll see what you got in mind here.
Yes, come this way.
All right.
There we go.
Hey, you guys spend more than a little time out here.
Yeah, lots of time.
Look at this
25
garden.
hours a week.
Come on, 25
Yeah.
hours a week?
25 hours a week.
The Hyatt's garden really reflects their lives. It sits right on the edge of Loomy Bay, which borders the Loomy Indian Reservation. Carol Ann, an interior designer, has divided it into several gardens that are joined together by paths. Tom is a professional musician with a love of golf. So when he's not touring, he's out on his putting green.
So you've got a lot of different kinds of plants here.
Yes.
You have to hand water a lot of these?
Yes.
Now for the parts of this that you have to hand water, how long does that take you?
Hour and a half.
Wow.
If it's really dry weather, we might be out here twice, you know.
And I want to show to focus on the different applications here because you've got so many different kinds of plants in different situations. But we need to start by connecting to your existing water supply somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
After the water supply was hooked up and the basic control system installed, I showed Tom and Carol Ann where they were and how they would work.
So guys, here's where we're going to get the water for your irrigation system. You already had this T in line here. I took the plug out, attached some PVC, and of course this is running now underground and out to the rest of the system. Now at the other end of this, actually, there's something I want to show you.
The PVC plastic pipe runs underground to a device that will distribute the water to different sections of the garden.
This is it, right here, to what we call a manifold. Each one of these is a valve, and it controls a different area or zone in your lawn.
Next, I take Carol Ann and Tom into the garage and show them the brains of the system.
Now this is your irrigation system timer. You got a number of controls up here which will tell each of those zones when to come on, when to shut off, and how long to stay on.
It's time for Tom and Carol Ann to go to work. They're digging trenches a few inches deep. Now, this is where we're going to lay the plastic pipes that will serve as the main water lines for sprinklers that will water the putting green. Earlier, we placed these small red flags around the edge of the green to show us the location of the new sprinkler heads. In order to supply each of these sprinklers with water, we'll have to tap into the main supply line. That means cutting the pipe and installing branch lines or offshoots.
To get this up out of the dirt right here, this is a good trick. Just take a short piece of pipe, lay it across the trench. Okay, Caroline, let's cut this pipe right here. There you go.
The quickest way to do this is with an inexpensive plastic pipe cutter. that uses a blade and ratcheting action to easily slice through the pipe.
Very nice. All right.
In a moment, we'll rejoin the pipes with this T-shaped connector. But first, we screw in this L-shaped fitting called an L or elbow.
Right, now it's time to weld this T to this pipe right here, right? So if you'll take the brush out.
Carol Ann applies pipe cement to the inside of the T and the outside of the pipe, then pushes them together and holds them firmly for a few seconds while the glue sets. Now we're ready to attach a flexible hose which will carry water from the supply line to the sprinkler head. We determine the proper distance and then cut the hose to length.
Cutters right here. Now this is the sprinkler head. It's a pop-up style right here.
Right.
Now we're going to put one end of this flexible hose on the sprinkler head like that. Just wiggle it up and down as we send it.
Carol Ann connects the other end to the L-shaped tube.
Up and down. That's it. That's it. Push. Excellent. Excellent.
We make sure that the sprinkler head is flush with the soil,
Top of this, flush with the soil here.
and then
I'm gonna start
fill in the
back
trench
to
with
this.
dirt.
You can go ahead and help me get Okay, now we don't have to fill it all the way, just enough to keep this in position,
Right.
and then we'll move on to the next sprinkler head. Okay?
Yep.
Great.
Now, one of the real benefits of this watering system is its adaptability. Pop-up sprinklers, like the one we just installed, can cover broader areas like the putting green. But the Hyatts also have a variety of garden plants with a wide range of watering needs. So the next part of their system will be designed with this in mind.
The general rule here is to glue as many things together outside the trench as we can. So let's start with the L.
We'll begin in this small area of the garden. Tom has dug a trench for another run of plastic pipe that will bring water to this location. Using the same cementing technique as before, he assembles a short L-shaped section called a riser. Into the end of the riser, he screws a plastic T. The entire assembly is then attached to the supply line.
Now this is called drip tubing.
Right.
This is what's going to supply the water to all the plants in here. Tom, if you'll plug one end of it into that T, okay, kind of rotate it and then up and down and push it in. Now we're going to run this in a big circle down here, and we're just going to put these stakes over the hose that'll hold it in place just like that, all right? So let's start. I'm going to cut this right here.
Once we've laid out enough tubing to encircle this section of the garden, we cut off the excess and insert the end of the tube into the other side of the T, while Carol Ann helps camouflage it. Then, using a punch, we puncture holes in the flexible tubing and attach smaller soaker hoses, which will carry water directly to individual plants. On the end of each soaker hose goes a water emitter. The emitter determines how much water a plant receives and how it's delivered. Some emitters drip water at the base of the plant, while others spray a fine mist onto the foliage. Some spray emitters even have interchangeable heads, each producing a different spray pattern.
And it's so tunable to whatever you want to do with the system that I know we're going to just thoroughly enjoy it.
As the day came to a close, I knew Tom and Carol Ann could adapt and expand their watering system any way they wished. They wouldn't need me anymore. And there was something else they could get along without.
Before you go, and for all the help in putting the system in, I'd like to leave you with something that I'm not going to need anymore.
Oh, I guess you won't, will you? Well, I can always use a garden hose, I'll tell you. I don't have irrigation motorhome. All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Ron. It's
You're
been
very welcome.
great. Thank
This was
you.
fun. I learned a lot from this. So how long have you had this lavender bush?
Take time to stop and smell the lavender. Isn't that what they say? Then it's back on the road, heading for whatever comes my way. Single-pane windows can be one of the biggest energy wasters in your home. But heat control window film can help change that. To install the film, start by cleaning the glass with a solution of warm water and a few drops of dishwashing detergent. The best and fastest way to remove the soapy water is with a squeegee. Roll out the heat control film on a clean, flat surface. Then measure the width and height of the window glass, add 1 inch to each side, and transfer the dimensions to the window film. Use a sharp utility knife or a pair of scissors and a straight edge to cut the film to size. At one corner, press on strips of cellophane tape to the front and back. Apply a window film application spray to both sides of the film. Then pull the tape strips apart and separate the backing from the film. Spray the window, lift the film by the corners, and place it on the glass. Smooth it out with your hands. Then, using a squeegee that comes with the installation kit, remove any bubbles or wrinkles by moving the squeegee from the center toward the edge. This trimmer, also part of the installation kit, used in combination with a sharp utility knife, allows you to trim the film for a perfect fit. A window film like this reflects up to 70% of summer's heat, helps retain winter heat, and blocks up to 99% of ultraviolet rays. Decorative window films like this one can transform nearly any ordinary window into one that looks convincingly like stained glass. A frosted film allows light to pass through, yet provides privacy from the outside. This window insulation kit uses shrink film technology to reduce heat loss through older single-pane windows. Install it by first applying double-stick tape around the edge of the window frame. Peel off the backing strip and press the film into contact with the tape. Finally, apply heat using a hairdryer on a high setting. The film shrinks as it gets warm, forming a drum-tight seal that eliminates drafts. Also, the layer of air trapped inside acts as an insulating barrier. Trim off the excess film with a razor blade, utility knife, or scissors, and you're finished. Whether you want heat control, glare control, privacy, or a special effect, there's a window film that can do the job. Japanese handsaws have been an important part of my tool collection for a long time. This is the Japanese saw I use most often. It has a rigid metal spline on the back to keep the blade from buckling, and very fine teeth, ideal for smooth cuts across the grain. The handles on Japanese saws are straight and wrapped with rattan for a secure grip. Probably the most unique feature of these saws is that they cut as you pull them toward you. In fact, so little pressure is required that it's possible to grip the saw with your fingers only and still cut. The cutting technique is a bit different with Japanese saws too. With this dovetail or tenon saw, I begin my cut on the closest edge of the board. Then, as I saw, tip the blade into a more horizontal position and work my way toward the opposite edge. When the blade I'm using becomes dull, I simply detach it from the handle and replace it with a new one. This saw is the mainstay of the Japanese woodworker. It has cross-cut teeth on one side and rip teeth on the other. Because it has no back, it's well suited for cutting through thicker lumber. When ripping with this saw, I start on the edge furthest from me and cut with the blade in a nearly horizontal position. Cutting on the pull stroke like this allows me to easily see where I'm going and gives me more control and accuracy than I can get with a conventional push-type saw. Now here's a nice feature of this model. I can tilt the blade and often get into awkward or tight spots that would otherwise be impossible to reach. Japanese hand saws. They work great and they're easy to use. Give them a try.
To view today's projects again, visit ronhazelton.com. Step-by-step home improvement tips when you need them. Let Ron show you how to do it yourself.